Good evening. We call the Hawarden, Iowa City Council to order on Wednesday, October the 24th, 2018 at 5:30 p.m. All present are council members and staff, other than staff person Pam tonight. She'll be here or not?
Pam is downstairs working with Brenda from Data Tech.
Okay.
Brenda was able to come down for the day, and when she does come down, we like to capture as much time as we can.
Great. Thank you very much. Standard agenda items tonight. There are a number of ordinances, resolutions, and other agenda items. Again, if you wish to address the council, number 1C, open business from the community. We will start with standard agenda item number 1A. This was the approval of the October 10th, 2018 City Council meeting minutes, and you've had those in your packets since Friday.
So move.
There's been a motion by John. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. Any other questions or clarifications? Hearing none, all in favor then of the October 10th, 2018 City Council meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Agenda item number 1B, approval of the October 24th, 2018 claims for payment. I'll start to my left with Rob. Questions?
No questions.
Okay, Jen?
No questions.
Okay, John?
None, thank you.
Travis?
None, thank you.
Okay, Tim?
No, so
Just one second. I do have a few questions, though, if I may. We notice a lot of community center refund in our claims for payment. Could you explain that to us, please?
If you rent the community center for, say, a wedding, and you use in-town vendors for your catering or for your liquor license transfer, things like that, for so many dollars that you spend, we give credit back as far as the rental on the community center. That way we encourage people to use in-town vendors. In one of them in your council packets, the young lady got $400 back, which was her rental fee. So basically she got the community center free by using in-town vendors. So it's a way to encourage them to use our in-town people as well as getting the facility use. So.
Then also, we will see monthly, probably, ambulance billing from Physicians Mutual.
That is PCC, that's our ambulance billing company. Several years ago, we outsourced our billing, and what they do is they get 10% of what is collected. They do it for the majority of the cities in Iowa and South Dakota. They're really good at what they do, and they've been doing a great job for us. So.
And it gets difficult with all the Medicaid and reimbursements and all those types of things that they have to do with.
All the things they change, the codings they do, working with Medicare and insurance companies, they take care of all that. We don't have to worry about any of that. So it works really well for us.
Okay, thank you. Tim, would you like to still make the motion for claims for payment? Sure. Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. Any other questions? All in favor then of claims for payment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next is open business from the community. Anyone wish to address the council?
Roger Olson, 1122 Avenue M. As I've been driving around town, driving up by the high school, that field that has the tall grass, what's going on there? I mean, that should be cut.
I understand that to be a school project that was a nature, some type of a
Outdoor kind of nature preserve.
nature grass preserve.
I can probably answer that. The school is working with the county to develop a prairie, and it's a tall grass prairie with lots of wildflowers and forbs. Their biology department will be able to utilize that for like an outdoor classroom, and that's kind of the reason behind that.
So we can have rodents running around the school, but we got to keep our grass short, right?
I guess I'm not aware of rodents. But,
Well, rodents, fields, they have rodents.
Okay.
I have one more question
Okay.
concerning the church at school. Now,
would
on
be-
Monday, is it still a church or just on Sunday?
That would be a question for the school board.
Okay.
Okay. and
Because
they
then
meet-
once you start that, you're going to have other organizations wanting to come in there and rent the school for something.
And when does the school board meet, Corey?
First, or the second Monday of every month.
Okay. So that'd be a question for the school board, Roger.
Okay, and also, we got a plan on doing something with downtown streets?
That was talked about last night at the visioning process.
Okay,
So
I missed that.
There's
playing pool.
there's some discussion on that. Yep,
Okay.
you bet.
And last night was also mentioned about driveways and parking in the yards.
Okay, and that'll be addressed tonight on agenda item number 3, which would be the third reading of that ordinance.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's about all I have. I think when people take pictures and put them in the paper, when it's not against the law yet, to park a camper in a yard, that's not right, but that's all I have to say.
Good. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Yep. Anyone else for open business from the community? Hearing none, then we'll move to the mayor's report. My thanks to everyone that participated in the community visioning gathering last night. Thanks to the city staff and all the council members also that were present. I think that everyone brought a great deal of passion and good ideas for the betterment of our community. It'll be up to everyone in our city to work together to make the improvements that were thought about and that are needed. Robert F. Kennedy was quoted saying, "It is not more bigness that should be our goal. We must attempt rather to bring people back to the warmth of a community, to the worth of individual effort and responsibility, and of individuals working together as a community to better their lives and their children's future." Having this visioning evening is the first step of many for the progress of Hawarden. We must all be in this together. Another quote from Connie McLaughlin that I found that said this about community. "The greatest challenge of community life is to create synthesis, embracing diversity in a unified whole, resolving differences with the healing spirit of love and dedication to the good work of the whole." We have much work ahead of us, but together we will succeed. Our congratulations to the West Sioux football team for their fantastic season and for making it into the postseason playoffs. We wish for them continued success and thank them for their hard work and dedication. Halloween is Wednesday, the 31st, of course, and everyone is invited to participate in the Halloween parade, lining up at 5:15, which is followed by the trunk and treat, all on Central Avenue downtown. The trick-or-treat for the youngsters and adults, if they so wish, throughout the community will begin after that. Please put on your outside lights if you wish to have trick-or-treaters stop at your house. Also, everyone, please be safe throughout the evening. General election is coming up on November the 6th. Hawarden's voting place, of course, is the Hawarden Community Center. For those that are eligible, please exercise your right to vote. The Hawarden Community Library has a lot of activities for all ages. If you have not participated, please take some time to check that out. And lastly, Jim, we haven't seen you since your sister has passed, so our sympathies from us to you.
Yeah, thank you. Her last trip out of Fargo was down here for Labor Day, and she wasn't able to go to too many of the festivities, but she had a good time, saw all the family, and enjoyed Hawarden.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our sympathies to you. We'll move on then to staff reports. Travis, we'll start with you, and thanks for bringing Isaiah to us today.
Yes, I have one thing for tonight. We were just notified this week of a monitoring violation of our water. Basically, our operating permit states that we have to sample for 2 substances in August of every year. Inadvertently, the test was taken in July, so that means we're out of compliance with our operating permit. So we just need to post it. It'll be posted in the newspaper that we're in violation. But the quality came back fine. There's nothing wrong with the test itself. It was just taken 12 days too soon. So I just want to bring that to your attention before you read it in the paper.
Thank you. Anything else?
that's it.
Good, and the new lineman is working out well, seems to be
Yes.
very pleased
Yep.
here and working well with the staff.
Hopefully, we plan to, any new employees, we'll bring them up and introduce them.
Good, we appreciate that very much. Mike, please.
Just one thing, we're in the middle of interviewing finance officer candidates. We haven't necessarily had a closing date on it. It's open until it's filled, so we've got 2 more interviews tomorrow, and then we'll kind of go from there and see what we want to do.
Good, thank you very much. Jim, anything else from your office there?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Corey?
Just a couple quick things. One, we're also narrowing everything down for our hiring of a full-time officer. We had testing Saturday, and we have it narrowed down to 3 really good candidates, and we're excited to get that rolling. Second thing, we're just transitioning, trying to get out of the old Tahoe and into the new pickup as well, so everything's going smooth there.
Could you give us just a brief overview about the testing of a potential officer?
Yeah, the state requires that the officers are fit for the academy. They have to run a mile and a half. They have to do so many push-ups within a minute, so many sit-ups within a minute, and make sure that their flexibility is within range in a sit and reach. So they did that. It was pretty cold Saturday morning, but they toughed through it, and everybody passed everything. And the next step is obviously a police officer selection test, which is a written test that they have to take to make sure that they can comprehend certain aspects applicable to the job. And finally, they do a Minnesota multiphasic personality inventory. It's about 561 questions, and they really look into their mindset and give an assessment, evaluation of their mental capacity and if they're able to handle certain things or if there's certain things we need to watch for. So we try to cover all bases before we select anybody.
So those testings, do you implement all of those or someone outside?
No, actually, we have somebody that does the MMPI test, and then it's an actual licensed psychologist that takes a look at the answers and gives the evaluation and whatnot.
So these aren't officers already, these are all candidates to go to
Correct.
school?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Any questions for staff? That's probably why I didn't apply. Would have flunked all 3, unfortunately. They're better than I.
Psychologist might have been a tougher.
Could have been. We'll move on. Anything from council members for comments tonight?
I have just to thank everybody for coming to the visioning last night. I just want to encourage continued ideas, more involvement, to let us know at council, just so that we can help see the vision and direction of our community and what they want. So thanks to everybody who came, and those that still want to participate, they can. So,
Thank
you.
Anyone else? Hearing none, we'll move on then to other agenda items. Agenda item number 3. This would be the third reading of an ordinance 706, an ordinance amending the code of ordinances in regards to parking. We've had much discussion and have had 2 readings. Get to where I need to be. So, third reading of ordinance 706 is in front of us. If this were to pass tonight, then once signed, would go into effect. Thoughts or comments or motions?
I'll make a motion.
It's been a motion by Jen. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Travis. Further questions or clarifications in regards to the third reading? Hearing none, call for a roll call vote for the third reading of ordinance 706.
Clocky,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Kurth,
No.
Bergsma.
Aye.
On a 4-1 roll call vote, third reading of ordinance 706 passes. Agenda item number 4. This would be, again, another third reading of ordinance 707. This ordinance is amending the code also pertaining to the wastewater utility rates. These rates were with the study for the improvements to the wastewater plant. Is there a motion for the third reading of ordinance 707?
So moved.
There's been a motion by Travis. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. Further questions, clarifications? Hearing none, a roll call vote for third reading of ordinance 707.
Olson,
Aye.
Kurth,
Aye.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Clocky.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, third reading of ordinance 707 passes. Agenda item number 5, this would be a resolution 2018-31 authorizing the purchase of natural gas from PEFA Inc., approving the execution and delivery of the gas supply agreement and other documents relating to said purchase, approving the issuance of bonds by PEFA and addressing related matters. Mike, do you want to give us an overview, or Travis, of this?
I can start, and Travis can jump in if I get off track. But PEFA, we've been a member of PEFA since 2008. This was an originally we passed this same resolution back then, and then the markets kind of went downhill, so it wasn't a good time to do this. There's 43 members in PEFA right now, and Bill Lindley, who buys our natural gas for us, has been doing an outstanding job the last several years since we got in this. What this does is allows him to buy forward gas farther on the market, so that he can buy it even cheaper. And it's projected that we'll get rebates from this every year because he can buy it so far forward on the market. Our projected refunds are going to be about $20,000 a year. Obviously, if the market goes down, it'll be less. There's really no liability on our part for this, but since we're all a member of this group, he needs all the members to approve it. I know several of our neighboring communities are in this and have approved it or are going to. But this, since we're part of this larger group, this allows, he needs all of our permissions to do it. Like I said, all the liability is on Clayton Energy, none of it is on us. But since we're all members, we have to go ahead with it.
And doesn't affect our bonding or anything?
It won't affect our bonding capacity. It won't affect our, actually, we're hoping to get even better rates with gas or the refunds that they're projecting out, so.
Okay. Travis, any other thoughts from your point?
PEFA uses Allers and Cooney out of Des Moines, so they've already gone through all the paperwork and approved it, said it's a good thing. They're behind it. Orange City, Alton, Rock Rapids have already jumped on board and passed. Sioux Center, they'll have their meeting next week.
Make a motion to approve.
Travis has made a motion for resolution 2018-31. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Rob. Further questions or clarifications needed? A roll call vote, please, for resolution 2018-31.
Kurth,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Clocky,
Aye.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Feldhacker.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, resolution 2018-31 passes. Agenda item number 6, this would be the approval of the the Ireton Police Protection Agreement. We have been together with Ireton and police protection since 2003. Mike, you've been chief at that time. Do you want to give an overview of that, please?
Ireton previously contracted through Sioux County Sheriff's Office. They were looking for another alternative for a couple of reasons. For price was their big reason, and so we got into the contracting market with them. When we originally started the contract, it was fairly low as far as what we were charging them, and we had it in our contract where we increased their price $2,500 a year. Well, about 4 years ago, it got to the point where we were kind of where we wanted to be. So then we started to change that on a percentage type basis, where if our budget went up, if the police budget went up 3%, theirs would go up 3%, which last year was $840. This year it happened to be 4.5%, so it was $2,600. So it's just going to vary. Well, we were able to do that, and then our auditors this year said, why aren't we charging them the $2,500 that's in our contract? So they recommended, since we're charging them different, that we change our contract to reflect that. The contracts have gone over to Ayrton for their review. They have passed it. I wanted to let them pass it to make sure they were going to before, we went to the work of passing it. So basically, nothing else has changed in the contract except for the way we figure the price.
And Corey, as a chief, this is a great workable position between the two good communities.
Yeah, it really is, and it's nice to be able to, go over there and help them with a lot of the different things that they have going on, especially since we're in the same school district and have another school over there. It's been a good partnership both ways, I believe.
And Mike, you just stated Ireton Mayor and Council and citizenry are pretty pleased with
Yes.
with
Yep.
us. Okay. Since it's a 28E agreement, I would like to make this a roll call vote. So is there a motion to approve the Ireton Police Protection Agreement? So moved. Moved by Tim. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. Any further questions of this agreement? Call then for a roll call vote for the approval of the Ireton Police Protection Agreement, please.
Kurth,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Clocky,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Bergsma.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, the Ireton Police Protection Agreement passes. Next, agenda item number 7, discussion on the possible hiring of economic community development person and a draft of a job description for that position. Mike and Travis and Jen, I think, have been working on that for us. We've had people in these positions in the past. We're looking maybe for filling that position again. I don't know if we want to start discussions with Travis and Jen or Mike, or give us an overview of kind of what you have put together. I know we have a pretty good job description
You
in
may
the
go
pack.
first.
So you want to give us an overview of your thoughts with that, please?
Me too.
Sure.
Okay. What kind of our thoughts were with this is to kind of have an economic community development director, kind of based, having that title going back and forth depending on what they're working on, more the business side or housing, that kind of thing, to kind of help put that all together. We want somebody with a lot of experience, like we've said, and we've had some in the past. We want somebody who's had some experience and really wants to follow the same vision that Hawarden has.
Ironically, last night, this was a point that was brought up a lot, as all 5 of us probably heard. Though job description, I call it a working job description because I intended that there was probably points that council would also like brought out in it, but it's a start for where we're going to go with it or not, I guess.
We examined several job descriptions from other communities that had the same person, and we felt that the bullet points were kind of what we were looking for, rather than some of them had several pages of just language in it that we didn't necessarily feel that we needed, but this one, we picked out the points where we felt we wanted somebody to work on. So that's the product we have so far in front of you.
Probably will, understanding that this would be then a city employee.
Yes, this would be a city employee governed by the council and the administrator.
funding items, obviously through budgeted items, and is there availability of TIF money available for this type of position in the state of Iowa or not, or?
I've had a few emails back with John Danos from Dorsey Whitney today, but we haven't hooked up for a phone call. He said it is possible to, and cities do fund some or part of this through TIF revenues. He said, just make sure we have a conversation before we get to that point. So obviously they can put the correct language in the amendment.
Okay.
So does that have to be appropriated every year then?
Yeah, we certify debt every November or December, so it would be certified as debt for, the upcoming year to capture that amount we need, or some of it.
So we'd have to do that this December if we were going to hire somebody in January, or?
Possibly, or, the first year you could always do an amendment on it, we don't, it's not a rush. I don't want to rush this and say we got to, get stuff. I want this to be a very thought-out process. So the first year, if we had to do a budget amendment on it, we could do that. But like I said, I think we need to really think about it, think about the goals that we want, and continue our discussions before we jump into it. So.
And at one point that kind of changed my mind, and no, I'm not going to say Jen was right, but two of the conferences that we were at discussed a lot about economic development has this pigeonholed idea where it is strictly bringing business to town. It's all about the 200 jobs, and yes, everybody has the goal for that, and all of the communities around have that same goal too. It's hard to achieve, but it's also looking at retention in our current businesses. It's looking at housing as a priority and how that relates back to bringing business and bringing jobs back into a community. So that's with this description, it's left to be broad for that purpose.
And those were a number of those same items brought up last night in regards to retention and business transfers downtown and business education or business owner education for
And you
younger
find,
folks.
looking through a lot of the different job descriptions, they all have that. Most of them all have that in there. There's not any that I don't think we had that just said, all you do is concentrate on bringing business. And it's housing and retention of current businesses and backfilling of current businesses and, so you're not just looking in the future. One of the conferences that Travis and I were at, they said that, everybody's out there looking for that big industry that has 200 jobs. And as well as we would be, but there's 10,000 other cities looking for the same thing. And there just isn't that many out there, so.
So and then tonight, we will, we have the job description in front of us, and we can ponder that. This is also on the city website, so that people.
This is not on the city
Not
website.
the description, okay.
No. This is,
To us, okay.
this meeting is probably the first time that this has actually been
Okay.
discussed at length at a
Sorry
council
for that
meeting. So.
misinformation. So then if council members wish to fine tune the job description,
Any ideas, anything you want to see in there, and we don't need the answers tonight? You guys all know our phone numbers, our emails, our, whatever. If we hear nothing, we'll continue with this on the path we're on. I'm sure we'll be meeting again soon and figure out what our next steps will be, so.
okay.
I guess my question to the rest of council is looking at this position agreeable? Is it something we all want to keep pursuing?
Well, I think from the meeting last night, I think the community would like to see that type of person, and, that could help out with not only bringing business to town, but help write grants and bring new projects to town that way. So from what I seen last night at the meeting, I think this first time I really looked at the job description, but it looks really good at this point, so I like the community to have some input if they want to look at it too before we put it out there, but.
I mean, anybody at this point opposed to even looking for, or looking at this? Or is everybody kind of on board with moving ahead with this?
Go. Sooner the better.
Yeah, and I think if we want to do it, we should look at budgeting for it and see how that fits in.
And with what Tim said, and Mike too, finding the right person is going to be key. So the sooner we get it out there would be my preference.
Yeah, I would, I would just as soon not just hire somebody because we only had 4 applicants and we had to pick one. I mean, I would rather keep the position vacant until we find that right person. Somebody that's got some experience. If we're going to spend the money on it, I think we need to spend it wisely and try and get somebody that's got some experience.
Yeah, I'd say it definitely reflects a lot of what everybody's thinking. I think everybody sees the need for such a position. I think we'll have to kind of digest what we learned last night and maybe prepare for how we would utilize them. But yeah, I think moving forward is always good.
Any other discussion for this agenda item at this point? Jen and Mike and Travis, thanks for your work up to this point in this. Appreciate it very much. There are no other agenda items. Our next Hawarden City Council meeting will be Wednesday, November the 14th. And so we'll have a number of items obviously on that agenda also. So at this point, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Jen. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, thanks for your attendance. Hawarden City Council is adjourned.